we're not doing the opening music because apparently that got dinged for copyright infringement.
Did it
Thanks,
really?
YouTube. Yeah, I sent you a text on it, dude.
Oh, I must have missed that text. Dang it. Well, shoot. Here I was going to share. I guess last week's episode. The copyright infringement though. What in it? Like the little Superman thing or something, or
The song,
the song? Oh,
the
well, shoot.
song that we've been using for a decade almost.
I, I thought that was just some kind of random deal. All
I
right.
thought it was too, but apparently, it has copyright on it.
Well, it's not
So
like we don't have access to plenty of musicians that would give us their music for free. So, yeah,
oh, exactly. Yeah, we do that, but if we do that, we also need to come up with a new visual to go along with it because it wouldn't really work to have that punctuated visual, to some nice melodic crap.
I just
Um,
half the people we know, you just send them that video and they'll just write music around it. I they
oh,
drive
good
me nuts.
point.
People like Mikey and stuff. They just sit there and they're like, okay, what do you got? What do you got? And then they come up with songs on the spot. I'm so jealous. Well,
But just to let people know, John, the reason he's looking off to the side now
not yet with my eyes.
is he's running on a monitor separate from where his camera is, so he's not looking down at a camera right above his monitor now.
I broke my laptop and I didn't have time to reset everything up. So I guess I can move things a little bit, but I would rather look at the screen
I know
and see what's
that
up.
that was my problem when I had my laptop going and a second monitor going. Is that the laptop was here, and then I was looking at stuff over there, so I was always looking off to the side.
Um,
And now with my new setup I got my monitor on a swing arm on the wall. I just got in a new. It's supposed to be a laptop stand, but I'm using it as a keyboard stand and a mouse stand, so I don't have to use my lap like I've been doing for the last several weeks. So I'm happy with it.
I need to get reset up, and now that it's con season again, it's one of those like, oh, now stuff's hitting
Hectic,
me, so I
hectic.
feel like
Yeah.
set doing all that, and before it's just like, oh man, you're spinning your wheels because we're just, even though you're talking to people, we're not out doing things as much. So it's
Hmm.
now I'm feeling the motivation to get up and do stuff, but it's not always as easy. But we'll
No,
see how
and
this.
it's been hell. It's been hell week as you had a sick family member,
All
and
of us were
I
sick.
had. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and I've had two sickies here. Jessica came home. She immediately got a fever.
that's why Cookie's not here tonight too. He called. He didn't call. My mom called and said, "Well, your brother's terrible sick," and I said, "No, he's coming to my house tonight." He's terrible sick. So I called him and he goes, "Yeah, I'm sick, but I'm coming over." I'm like, "No, you're not.
No,
We
you're
just got
not.
over that." So he said he might chime in tonight. Matter of fact, I was almost getting a little excited because tonight I wanted to watch that new Fantastic Four trailer, and I thought, oh, that'll give me a good excuse to talk about comics a little. I said, why don't you just chime in from your house and get Billy because Billy will talk about comics, and I said, oh yeah, let's do that. And he goes, yeah, because Billy knows more than all of us put together. And I'm like, no, damn it. Like I want somebody on here to talk about
About comics.
comic books so bad. Yeah, I'd love to just sit and like I could just throw on that Fantastic Four trailer and just talk Fantastic Four for an hour, but then everybody would just stop watching. So it, it's like
I would definitely start working on a model. I'll tell you that.
yeah, it would be like if I told Tim to start talking about guns or asked you even about AI or something to where it would be like, oh
Oh
yeah, let's
yeah.
talk for a while, and it's like no, because then we will just be talking for an hour about
Yeah.
Fantastic Four and shit. So
Hey, you know what? And some people really enjoy that. And if we want to, at some point, set up, a Concast episode that's going to be all comic and nothing but comic, well, damn well, we're going to do that. So you can have your fun, man. But
well,
we got to get you someone to talk to that their eyes are not going to glaze over like
glaze
mine
over.
will.
Yeah. Well, and that's like the we did that
Hi,
one.
Tim.
Hey Timbo, we were just talking about you. Like we did that one episode where we did Star Wars versus Star Trek kind of thing without getting a real debate going. But like if you got
No,
Sean
it
on
didn't.
over at your side or something, and we could do something like that, that would be kind of cool too about comparing fandoms or even
Well,
talk
that's the
about
great thing about this. We can have many people logged on this.
we can do whatever we want. And
Yeah.
start sending
We are
out.
the masters of our universe.
We could have 8 people all around, like a Recalcitrant
Yeah.
Society that does the podcast. That we've talked about them being on here, and all I need to do is reach out. But it's a lot of times when they do their gaming, the whole outer ridge will just be full of like 6 or 7 gamers on there. So
And speaking of gaming, we had a fun time gaming this weekend, didn't we?
yeah, that's one reason I was.
Oh, that didn't sound very good.
Oh, no.
You're like, oh, yeah. I mean, it was either that or put my nipples in a clamp. So I went with the gaming.
I had a good time. That's why I was hoping Tim would be here, because we gamed on a system that Tim had created, and he created a whole campaign, and we were kind of test playing out his system. So that's where if he was here, that was my sound of disappointment. I had a great time, but if he was here, we could talk a little bit more in depth about what he's planning on doing with the system and kind of how it works. But I mean, we could touch the bases on it for sure, because I know it's something that he's wanting to produce more of so that he can do some of this at conventions. I know he's wanting to play something at TsunamiCon with it next year. So yeah, excited about that.
Okay, hold on a second. If he wants, I will copy this link and
let him
hop on with us. He can. Yeah, and well, he can tune in with the camera on his phone if he wants. Well, he'll have to download the Riverside app.
Well, since it is beginning of the episode, I figured I would chime in with there's two main stories I want to cover today. Other than that, I'm willing to talk about whatever we got going on. The main one would be the new Fantastic Four trailer.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure we could talk about the Ryan Reynolds shit and all that, but I like that there's positive news in Marvel this week. So I'm sticking to those two. You got the trailer,
you should.
And then the possible return of Kang the Conqueror. Jonathan Majors, the actor who got fired for playing Kang.
Yeah. I thought there was some bad stuff, and now we're just saying screw it, we don't care anymore. We're going to treat them like football players, and as long as they don't rape puppies, they're back in.
No, actually, we'll chat about it. We'll do it on Geekgasms, and I'll bring it up a little bit. But
hey, Berto, let me show this on the stream. To quote from The Princess Bride, there's a shortage of perfect breasts in the world. It'd be a shame to damage any of them.
It's weird because Berto's one of those few people, like a lot of people would post that and I'd go like, yeah, well, whatever. That's a cute little. No, I guarantee 100% he just lit a girl's boob on fire. 100%.
And recorded it.
And yep, it got video evidence. So now I kind of want to see it too. But I didn't hear. I said it on record for the wife to hear. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, let me see. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, should we hit some Geekgasms real quick, and then we can just start chitting and chatting?
Trying to think of Geekgasms. It's been a constant road of sick kid with. I mean, we had him tested for mono today. Today he just got back enough where he's almost a real boy again. Snapchat, way to go, Berto.
100% correct. Snapchat. Yeah, the sick has slowed us down here too. It's it's been a little rough, and then shows, and you and I haven't even got to talk much, even though we played on Sunday, which will be my Geekgasm. But even next weekend we have BusterCon in Garden City, and
and now that is not. If I'm recalling correctly, that is not the 8th. That is the 15th.
15th. See, and that's what I was thinking.
Right.
So Sunday, I'd meant to talk to you about this when we got distracted with gaming. Our winery has been invited to a festival on the 15th as well to go and distribute wine at if we want. We can sell and all that.
Oh, we can sell.
We can sell. That's one of the first things I ask, because for anybody watching, what you don't get a lot is, like with the winery and different things, people will get a hold of you and say, we'd love to have you come to our event, hand out free samples, do this and that, promote. You can hand out business cards so that people will buy your stuff later. But that means you hand out hundreds of dollars worth of free product, hoping that somebody buys a bottle or two next week. And
what was the one in? I'm not gonna name the city that does it, but they've invited us several years in a row.
Yep.
And the thing is that you can't sell anything there. but they part of their requirements is bare minimum we had to bring like 20 cases of wine to hand out.
This is
And
actually same city, different organization.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, and if you do the, I mean, I was it 20 cases, 10 cases?
I can't
Even if
remember.
it's 10 cases, that's let's say 15, that's like
$120 a wine.
$1,500. Yeah,
Huh?
$1,500 just bye.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes like we used to do food shows and stuff all the time, and they'll say, "Hey, well, you can eat while you're there. You can do this and that," and that's all well and good. But I could have grabbed McDonald's on the way there for $15 and been perfectly fucking happy too. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, we get that with performing and stuff too. I mean, with Comcast, it's a little different because it's a scratching of backs. Like when we would go to conventions, interview guests and stuff, we're advertising them probably way more than we're getting traction with having their guests on our podcast. Uh, Back in the day when we were doing that.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I don't think it would be the case, but uh,
Yeah, I mean, we because of everything and our reset that we've done, I would say we'd be almost starting from scratch again.
yeah,
But it wouldn't take long for us to get back to where we were if we truly invested ourselves in it instead of just having fun like we're doing.
yeah. If it wasn't everybody witnessing a weekly phone call between old guys talking shop, uh,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's okay. We got,
No, but anyways,
we get that with Wags and stuff
geekgasms.
too. So
Yeah,
geekgasms.
geekgasms. We had fun. We all went over to Kaylin's house and tried out the new system. We had fun on that. It was good for the first time in years to get my feet wet with RPG again.
And
So I enjoyed the hell out of that.
the system was pretty much I'm not going to say D&D. It wasn't a D20 system or anything, but you can imagine taking D&D or a world like Bright or anything where
Yeah,
you still have the fantasy element and put it in the late 1700s, and that's
mid to late. Yeah.
so you got like we ran into Sasquatch over in the woods, and there's like fairies and dwarves. So half of our party were dwarves, um, and you're just pretty much as it is right now. We were all humans, and we're going through this world. We were all humans, right?
As PCs, I
Yeah,
believe we were all
I think
human.
so.
My character was human. Your character, I don't know, is drunk a human?
I was a
Uh,
drunk Irishman, Patrick O'Brien. You couldn't have got more generic Irish than that right there.
I
But
was, and because Tim was just throwing fun names on him just so he can establish a baseline character what he was thinking of, and mine was a almost a merchant marine kind of mercenary working for the company. Former military, what do you, Sergeant Stadenko, for those who you remember your Cheech and Chong, their old comedy albums. Kalen was basically just a walking bag of holding with combined with the babblefish.
Tim had put Hudson Bay area.
Oh yeah.
Hudson's Bay area. Yeah. Yeah. And then, shoot, he even put in characters like we had Bill Messino was there as a Musatar from Three Pints Gone. We had Mac McGrog from the Scallywags was our bartender. Yeah,
Hmm.
little stuff like that. It was good fun. It was good to kind of test play out a new game, something that I could see. It's very story driven, which I like personally. So
Yes.
yeah, we're planning on getting together more often, trying that system out, seeing how it goes, getting some of the other guys involved. I know Frankie's wanting to come down and play, and some of the other guys. So I'm excited about it. Yeah.
Whatever you sent me, Berto, I will have to take a look at it once this is over with because I can't share the audio from one to the other.
Oh, it's
Sorry.
probably a girl with her boob on fire. Damn it.
No, no, no. He sent it to me on Messenger, and she looked clothed,
No.
and she did not look like she was in a burn ward, so that was good too. Uh,
Just,
but no, it was a fun system, and it's how did I put it? It's very cinematic because this is going to be like you said, it's going to be very story driven, and it's cinematic where you have you know superficial wounding, and then you have direct wounding, or however Tim put those two distinctions. So you can have just a flesh wound, and tie a piece of cloth on it, and I'm good to go. And then you have the ones where you gut shot and you're eating onion soup to see if you can smell it.
Well, and
For
I
those
like
who know your history.
the idea that, well, yeah, there's a lot of history in it for sure. I like the idea right
Yeah.
now that it sits, and it could change to where it is so story driven that as a GM, because that's usually what I got to be was GM a lot, is as a GM, you can pretty much just go, I'm just going to like, I interpret your actions this way. So when you roll a percentage, I can literally determine it's not all tables where I got to go, oh no, this, you rolled exactly this. So this is exactly what happens. As GM, I got a lot more free reign to determine uh, whether I want that whole building to fall on you or not. Or,
Oh yeah.
and I know any GM can do that with any game, but it gives you a little bit more freedom with this, with the storytelling aspect of it. So,
Right. I mean, you're not having to. There's no real hiding things, so you can make a plot device work. Where like when GURPS is so number driven. For some people, it's so number driven that if I want if I want them to actually survive, sometimes I'm fudging things where, realistically their opponent should have whooped everybody's asses. But now, okay, he's dead. That's fine. Because I never showed any HP or anything like that was going on. And that was the only way that I was able to hide it. Whereas a narrative driven device like this, he can color it and paint it any way he wants, and it really flows.
oh, Mike missed the beginning. This is a new system that Cookie, my brother Tim, created. We all got to test play it. Well, not all of us. About 5 of us get together this Sunday.
The
Last
important
Sunday.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to get Frankie down stuff, but half of us were sick. Well, I was sick, and we were trying to rearrange schedules. So we're going to get some more people test playing it some more. But yeah, it's just a new system that Cookie put together for taking to conventions, and it's I'm going to say D&D based in the mid to late 1700s.
Yeah, as you said, it's in the Hudson Bay area. It's that whole fur trapper time, back when the you know the French were discovering that lacrosse was something that could screw you over.
All the trappers look like Jason Momoa. All the Irishmen were drunk, and their Sasquatch.
Really, I was thinking they looked more like God. Who was it? Last of Mohicans. Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis. Oh, yeah, I figured.
Yeah. Oh, it would be that. It would be that time period. The Last of the Mohicans, Daniel Day-Lewis time period.
Tim and I were actually joking on Sunday about the Trappers TV show with Jason Momoa, because I think he even named Billy's character Momoa. Have you ever seen that, Trappers?
No, never heard of it.
Oh yeah, it's same thing, Hudson Bay area and stuff. Momoa's a trapper. That's pretty much it. Just picture what Momoa looks like and everything else, but with furs on it. And that's what it is. So
even the cartoon characters of Momoa look like Momoa. Go figure.
Yeah. I think he looked less like Momoa in Conan and everything else since then. He's played, like, even when he plays Lobo, he'll be Jason Momoa as Lobo. It's not going to be.
I think the least Momoa I've seen him was his small part on Game of Thrones.
Oh, really? Oh, shoot. Yeah, that's the one that kind of kicked him up, because before that, I think he was living in his van. He'd already loved the Conan movie and been in Stargate and all that stuff. Sorry, hang on a second. You good? Okay, cool.
I was just going to ask if I could come in.
Not right now, sweetie, but I'll talk to you in a bit. Sorry, kid just standing at the door. I wasn't sure what was what.
So, hey, as long as everything's okay, that's all good.
All good. All good.
All right.
Otherwise, she's going to be asking 20 Momoa questions while we're doing this, and it's like we're on to something else, honey. So,
well, wouldn't we all ask those Momoa questions?
Tim says Frontier is a show. So I was thinking it was called Trappers.
Yeah, there we go.
So we both had the same game.
Is that no, I've also got a little bit of work done, in between all the other stuff. I got some more work done on the D7 that I'm going, and I'm really, really happy with this paint that I was able to come up with for this. So my geekgasm is I did a really good job on the bottom paint on this, the green and the covering on it, and my sanding on it. You can't tell any seams, which is really good, because on these old kits they are nothing but seams. So I'm very happy with that.
It's kind of hard to see the color, but yeah, I do see the green. And what
Well, hold on.
I'll say this just for
There we go.
Berto said,
Those listening.
yeah, Berto said he'd be great in The Crow. Momoa almost was in The Crow. I don't know if you knew that, but when they did this reboot with Skarsgård just recently, that originally was going to be Momoa, and
You
that
know,
wasn't through. So,
I don't understand why people like The Crow.
oh, I like The Crow. It's a great story. The first movie was absolutely great. It happened when that movie came out. I remember when it came out because I had just gone through my first major breakup with a girlfriend, and the thing we did right after we broke up, I've been dating her for like a little over 2 years. I went and watched The Crow, and it was like so depressing and just like, and that you just felt so goth when you walked out of the theater, and it made it not as watchable. But
Oh
no,
yeah, that led to a whole lot of goth. I mean, I think that actually like really shot the goth scene into mainstream was The Crow.
yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. But I think Momoa would have been good at it. But the thing is like that new Crow, they ended up doing a remake
With
instead of just
Skarsgård?
instead of just another continuation, and you're just not going to be able to replicate that magic of the first one. I think the first one was good. It represents the Crow comic book. The rest after that they're just filler movies to me. So, but when you're holding up your kit, Ash, I was going to mention this for Kelly who's watching, because I'm kind of excited. You had given me this new glue, and anybody doing 3D printing, I've only used a little bit of it so far. That's what I got, but I am using
Basically, go ahead.
a kit that I'm making for Kelly. You got a hold of me about I believe it's a He-Man toy that never got made. So I got to order the files from England. It's a giant dinosaur, Giganosaur. And it's a lot of flat pieces that need glued together. And I needed something good that was going to hold it together because I had so many problems with that giant Pterodog head. So I'm going to be using this on that. So hopefully by this weekend, I'll have that put together. I'm hoping. So.
Yeah, and for those who do the 3D printing, what it is, you see a lot online of the influencers and people who put up their videos and stuff. They use something called 3D glue, GLOOP, I think it is, and it's expensive. You know, for a 5-ounce or a 4-ounce jar of it, it was like $35, and that was before shipping and handling. So it was coming out to like $45. And I was like, okay, so that's a brand name. You know, there has to be something. So I did some research and I found out this stuff, which is SCIGRIR. It's their 16 fast set. It is a clear medium bodied solvent cement for acrylics. And this whole 5-ounce tube cost me like $16 on Amazon. And this stuff is great. I mean, this stuff just holds together like nobody's business because what it does is it acts like the solvent that you use for when you're putting together PVC pipes, and you dope that with that, and you put it together, and it chemically welds it together.
Yeah, creates
that's what this does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this does for acrylic, where the other one does it for PVC. Whereas, if we use like super glue or something like that, that's just sheer. Yeah, that's just sheer, glue holding together glue. This one actually melts it.
Yeah, I used this today. I went around in a bunch of kits that I had, like when you print a kit and only half of it comes out, and you got to print another half and like glue them together where there's not proper seams. I've been going back through and doing it on those, and everything so far. Now it's only been a day, holding like a champ. And super glue a lot of times snap right back out. So
and see, that's the thing is you haven't even gotten to the full bonding strength yet because it takes. What does it say? It says you got 5 minutes of work time. Within an hour, it's set, or 18 minutes, it's set. And after 24 hours, it's 80% solid. So it'll take like a day or so for it to go 100% solid.
Within a minute, I didn't have to hold it anymore. I could just set it down and walk away. So yeah, I was happy with that. So
it's really good stuff.
We should do your geekgasm.
I was going to say it's also
chatting.
Yeah, I was going to say it's also very, very a lot of volatile organic chemicals in it. So, make sure you got ventilation.
Well, that was my favorite part. So
yeah, that's good.
So what was your geekasm then this week? Just doing your kit, right?
Yeah, that's all I've really had time for is doing that, and also the parts are coming in for me to upgrade my system, so I'm looking forward to that as well. I
Yeah.
just am waiting for the new motherboard to come in. I've already got the CPU and the memory in, so once I get in the motherboard this Saturday, I'll be able to tear it apart, rebuild it, and make it stronger and faster.
Yeah. Well, shoot it. I was thinking too. We were going to talk about some of the stuff on Sunday, and then we started talking politics like dumbasses. So that's been the hard thing not to talk about.
Yeah.
But jumping
Well,
on.
yeah. Okay, we're staying away
Well,
from that.
listen,
We're
I'll
staying
listen
away from
to you.
that.
That's why I haven't ordered my computer parts yet. But yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. The reason I did, I mean, and that was one of the things too. Is like, did you see that for a short time this morning, the uh, the U.S. Postal Service was no longer going to be accepting packages from China?
I didn't see they weren't going to be accepting packages, but I did see that they're redoing all sorts of ship because of they got to filter through them now because they
Yeah,
got
they actually have to
on. Yeah.
beforehand anything labeled under $800 in value, they could just fast pass it through. But now they're getting rid of that. But for just a short time this morning, and then they rescinded it after a couple hours. They were saying, nope, we're not going to. USPS is not going to take any more Chinese packaging.
See,
And
that's one of those things I'm so nervous to talk, even when politics align with, like I look at convention stuff a lot from the point of view of a person running a convention. And even our hobbies, like you and I were talking about 3D printing this weekend and how some of the political things could cause issues with that and stuff. And I'm really trying not to jump into any of that, but it is so hard to get on a public forum at any point and talk politics, even when it directly affects your job, the conventions you're doing, all this stuff, because A, you represent other conventions or whatever, and B, man, the hate out there talking politics at all is crazy bad. Anytime people ask anything, it just I get this. Well, if you think this way or that way, don't be friends with me anymore. And so
oh
it's like, oh, I
God, and
don't
some
want
of
to
them
talk
are
about that.
downright violent.
Huh? Oh yeah.
Some
Chris,
some
yes,
people out there are downright violent.
you missed a little conversation about Crow. Now I'm going to point out I brought up the comic book conversation thing here. The most traction so far is the Crow comic books.
I know.
Guys, I'm gonna just start talking comic books and everybody's gonna hate it and tune out. So
Well, if you want to get them off the Crow, start talking about the Crow comic book. That'll make them backtrack immediately.
well, Mike actually already brought up the Crow comic. But anyhow, and that's one of those things. The Crow was a good comic book movie, good representation. The first one, especially for its time, 92, 93, I think is when that one came out. So that was a real good representation. Everything they put out on that since then has been pretty much shit.
Well, the thing is as Roberto was saying in there, the first one was great. Second one and onward, it went downhill in a handbasket. But what some of the younger people may not know or may not remember is that the Crow won Brandon Lee, then Brandon Lee died, and very tragically, a lot of inferences made between the similarities between his death and his father's death. But anyway, and then moving on, then they tried to make Crow 2 using whatever they had already filmed with him, and then some stock footage, and then reusing some older footage, and then a lot of stuff from his back. It was just so poorly done.
You're oh, I thought Berto said I love the Crow comics. I thought he said the Crow was a comic. I was like, you're fucking you're thinking of the first movie, because actually the second movie, what they did is they went with a whole nother storyline, because Jason Lee got killed during the first movie, which was about 80% done. So that was one of the
Brandon Lee?
Or Brandon Lee, sorry. I said Jason Lee. He's in a lot of comic book movies.
He is.
Brandon Lee. So that was back when they were first doing, I'll say, the equivalent of deep fake technology today, where they used existing footage of him, and then they used a lot of his stunt double. So there was a lot of stunt work that was done that they had to go through and try to mask his face on. So that was all the first movie, and then the second movie you got. And in the comics, they
really, because I could swear that he died in between 1 and 2. Roberto, look it up.
Actually, it was during the scene in 1 where he steps up on the table and
nope.
does this.
What he actually died in was he was redoing Enter the Dragon, his dad's movie. That's what he was shot in, was Enter the Dragon.
Nope, I'll disagree with you on this one. Trust me, I was
we got to find out now.
As I am now. So just logged in and reviewed some comments, and yeah, 3 was okay. Its issue was trying to get the memorable lines. 4 was just bad, and I have not seen the new one with Skarsgård yet. Trailer looked good, but it looked like they were leaning more toward the graphic violence of it than any good story to me. But I haven't seen it, so I can't judge. And
right.
Berto said, I missed it. Couldn't see what Berto said.
Oh, hold on. I'll bring it up.
Sorry.
The Crow 2 was based on a comic 2. It was destroyed by Weinstein, and there's a whole story behind it. There's a fan-made edit of it, is what he said.
You know, we should do an episode on fan-made edits. Because...
Dude, they are coming out with some great Star Trek stuff right now. Fan-made.
I love a good fan-made edit. Liz from Children of Proteus had made a fan-made edit of...
You guys are absolutely right. I am wrong. He was killed on the set of The Crow. You guys are absolutely right. I apologize.
Well, that's all right. So Liz had made...
See how much of a man I am? I can admit I'm wrong. I wish you'd do that more, John.
I did. I admitted you were wrong.
Oh, well, you're a giver. You're a giver.
What was I going to say? I had a
no, he was killed by a prop gun. It was one where he was too close, and even though it's a blank, the blanks still put stuff up.
The actor that shot him still to this day is in just like fucking. It fucked him up so bad. He quit acting. He went into a real bad place over it.
So you're saying he's a better man than Alec Baldwin?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I could sit here and tell you all about that first Crow movie, because back in those days we didn't get a lot of comic book movies. So I was in it, man. That was my jam for a while. But
I didn't even know it was a comic book movie until much later. I just not in the comics.
James O'Barr, I believe, artist and writer for that series. And it was based on his original concept for it. But again, like Berto had said, all the other movies were based on Crow comics, but it's like The Mask or a lot of others where even Spawn or Ghost Rider, where other people will hold that mantle. So they're just like, oh, well, if we can't use, Draven from the first one, we'll just use Billy so-and-so from this other series that nobody liked near as much, because now we can recast an actor, So anyhow.
Well, I got to say, I recently saw just a little thing showing all the different, like 3 or 4 different actors for Wonder Woman before they came on to Linda Carter. And so, they tried, well, I think it was 3 other times, 67 or 68, then 2 more in the early 70s. And then they landed on Linda Carter, and she just stole.
Well, yeah, a lot of the hell, we had a different Batman before we had for that 1960s series of Batman, before we had West, they put I can't remember the guy's name, but he did the pilot and stuff. It didn't go anywhere, and they recast that. We had David Bowie's wife was playing Black Widow for a Black Widow movie back in the 60s. We had a whole bunch of different people
before Adam.
Before what? Oh, I think you might have froze out there.
I'm good. Yeah. No, I can see you. Hey, people, can you see me?
It must have been my...
I was going to say...
you froze smooth up. Mike says...
You were coming in good. Yeah. Look at, the movie that they tried for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I mean, they even had the powerhouse of...
Paul Rubens?
Of Pee Wee Herman in it.
Yeah.
Paul Rubens.
Yeah.
And even he couldn't save that turd. With the most iconic death scene ever.
I was just gonna say that though. Paul Rubens stole the show. Like I love Rutger Hauer and always seeing him as a vampire would be great, but that's not the vampire I wanted to see him as, you know. So, but Paul Rubens in that was fucking brilliant. I think you may have froze up again.
Sean's saying that someone is freezing intermittently. Me?
I think that is you.
Damn it.
I hope I didn't screw you up my
right
computer setup today, man.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work some magic here. I'm going to hotspot this in.
Since we're already talking comic book movies, we might as well jump on that Fantastic Four trailer. And while you're doing that, I can tell you about the possibly bringing Jonathan Majors back for Kang. Then that way we got the rest of the time to talk with whatever you brought. Does that sound all right? Okay, he's froze up. All right, fine. Then while I'm waiting on him, I will go ahead and talk about the Jonathan Majors. And if anybody has information on this on the side, feel free to chime in because I didn't have time to fully research it because the news broke yesterday. Nothing's been set in stone yet. Actually, I did want to get Ash's opinion on some of this, but I'll go ahead and start anyway. So a while back, last year, Jonathan Majors had gotten in some trouble with his girlfriend. They'd had this fight. I don't have all the details on it. Whoop, and I hear I lost Ash. It is just me. So now I can talk about whatever the hell I want. Now we're talking comic books, damn it. Kristen said I see they're going to reboot Buffy. We're continuing. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to kill some time for a minute until Ash kicks back in. So I will chat with you guys on chat because I do want to get Daryl's opinion on Jonathan Majors. I heard that they're going to do the Buffy reboot too. And Ash probably has a little bit more on this because I know his wife is a huge Buffy fan. And I would be up for seeing a good Buffy reboot. I wouldn't even care if they recast everybody, but I'm also one of those guys. I liked the movie when it came out, the original movie. I know Ash wasn't a big fan, but it was a good show. It was tongue in cheek, comedy like, and I could get behind that. And it's one of those things that, just like Hercules or half those other movies that came out at the time, they were geeky, but they weren't part of that comic book convention culture quite yet. And then they became that way, and they started bringing out comic books and all sorts of shit on it. And that's probably.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, hey, there you are. Are you on a phone now?
I joined on my phone because this thing is all screwed up. And like I said, I can't wait to get my new system all set up. Okay.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is it the thing, or was it because I jumped in with the other computer today?
No, I think it's. I'm really, because my whole system is just not. It's just not connecting to the internet now, no matter what.
All right. Well, I was killing time for a minute. I was going to start talking about the Jonathan Majors thing, but Kristen had chimed in when she heard they were going to reboot Buffy, so I was just started talking Buffy. But
I heard that. I was talking to Jessica about that, and she had said that. Yeah, she said that. What was it? That Sarah Michelle Gellar is going to be in it. She is going to be the. She's going to be the Slayer trainer. She's not going to be the Watcher. She's going to be the Slayer trainer.
It's going to be a continuation then, not a reboot?
I don't know. It could be one or the other. I mean,
I wonder if Joss Whedon would be involved with that.
Got to have Xander.
I was just watching a deal. We always get these Fireflies coming back thing, right? So they're in the process, supposedly, of bringing Firefly back.
Without Ron Glass?
Yeah, you don't have a choice. I don't mean to sound bad, but
I know.
But that they were talking about even bringing maybe Joss Whedon in on it, and I'm like, after all the and this will fit into the Jonathan Majors stuff, but after all the controversy that went down with Joss Whedon, and I know most of the Buffy crew all turned their back on him when that went down, so I just don't see him being involved with it. I couldn't imagine.
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, except for Allison Hannigan, I think the rest of them like to eat. All right, and they really haven't had that much stuff coming in. Whereas Hannigan, she had that whole How I Met Your Mother that really,
the Penn and Teller
got her into
was-
syndication all over again.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see them wanting to work and stuff, but I don't know. That's one of those things. It's hard for me sometimes when there's somebody you like Joss is a great example. The shit they're going through with Ryan Reynolds right now too. I hate it when you put somebody up on a pedestal and then you find out, fuck, they might be a creep. And it sometimes I'll dive into it way more than I should, trying to find out if somebody is a creep or isn't a creep. And even with the Joss stuff, everything's secondhand info, but there's enough of it that I'm just like, well, I guess I'll never see something from him again, even though I like his work. You have to.
Hey, look,
Okay.
I got 2 cameras going now.
For those on the audio, I'm
All right, I'm hanging this one up.
posting with Ash and his two